Welcome to the Arrangers Podcast. Good morning to everybody.
Morning.
Marcus Kelly, your host, and I've got with me my co-host, Christopher Molina. We are live from Hathorn Studios here in Columbia, Mississippi, and we're going to call today part 2 or part B of our first episode, however you want to phrase that. Chris, you kind of mentioned let's dive in a little bit deeper into how we got here specifically at Hathorn and what we do specifically now. So that's fine. That's what we'll do. We'll just kind of talk about a little more specifically what we do here on a day-to-day basis.
So on part 1 of episode 1, you advised that you went through seminary school and coming out of a 4-year degree, you started pastoring a church at 25, mid-20s we'll say.
Right.
And how long were you pastoring?
I pastored 4 years.
Okay.
So, prior to that, I mean, right out of high school, I started in college, and in the middle of college there, I started, youth ministry stuff.
Yes, sir.
Part-time, and that grew into kind of an associate pastor role, and they helped me get through seminary and get my degree after college. So, but mid-20s is when I started pastoring and became, a full-time leader of the church.
And after you had stepped down from your church, you had landed at the funeral home?
I did. So I knew the local manager of a funeral home there in Collins where I'd served, and I just said, look, I need something to kind of get my foot in the door. I'm a pastor, so I understand the ministry that you guys have. And so, he made a call, and I was able to interview with the owner. Our owner owns 20 some odd funeral homes in and around the south part of our state. And so what he offered me to get started in this business was actually to sell pre-arrangements, to sell pre-needs. And I have zero sales experience. I had none. And I didn't really understand what that was going to entail. At that point, I needed a job, and I felt like and just trusted and believed that God was opening a door. So I was willing to walk through it. And as I did that.
How many years?
Well, I started out in pre-needs, and I probably did that full time for 3, 4, maybe 5 years. I don't know, at least. But I was blessed. We've got a lot of different locations in our company, but from where I lived at the time, our owners wanted me to be in Columbia from the start, and I'm so glad about that. It's a great place to be, and I got to train under and learn from the infamous David B. Hathorn. And wow,
town legend, living legend.
He is a living legend. So I don't know. It's just there's a lot there. I'll say this. I'm not a natural salesperson. I learned a lot over the years through him and through my corporate guys that helped me with that. But I was just very blessed. The Lord opened doors, and He helped me form some relationships.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah,
but the major thing is I learned that this business is all about people. It's just about people being compassionate, understanding their needs, and I saw it as another opportunity to minister. I really did see it as an extension of what I was doing before. I don't stand up in a pulpit and preach and prepare a message, but you get to be in the middle of people's lives at a very, very important...
A low part, a dark part, a hard part.
Yes, you really, really do. And so that's what really, really piqued my interest early on when I started. I was selling the prearrangements, the insurance, the trust, those kind of things, and helping people pre-plan. But I was at the same time seeing people
Yeah.
on an at-need basis
Yeah.
and had just lost their loved one. They're coming in here, and we're helping them plan a service. I help work some services. I help on a lot of different things. So
They brought you in not only to sell, but you started to kind of spider web into different facets of the funeral ministry.
It did. So yes, I started in the sales position, and I immediately just gravitated towards the director side of things that dealt with families at need.
Yeah.
They've immediately had a loss, and we need to help them plan a service and honor and remember their loved ones. So I gravitated and had an interest in that.
Naturally, yeah.
And so thankfully, my owners saw that and appreciated that, and were willing to let me go through the apprentice program like you did.
Yes, sir.
And
2 years.
David was my preceptor.
That's
and
crazy to me.
learned a lot, a whole lot from him and a lot of others. But that's kind of where it started.
I know our viewers, one of these episodes, will get to meet the infamous Mr. Hathorn, and we'll get him up here and ask him a couple questions. But just a phenomenal mentor. He's been in this ministry for 56, 57 years.
And you would know. It's so weird to say that, okay? Because David, my gosh, I'd say this in front of him.
Sure.
He's such a gruff, hard, he's not an emotional, warm and fuzzy kind of guy. The joke that everybody around here has about David is he's got a cold hand but a warm heart.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, he is a mentor in the fact that he is so professional.
Yeah.
He
cares so much about families.
And he does. He
Oh, Mike,
cares
he will bend over
so
backwards.
much to make sure that everything is just right. Every
Right.
detail matters to him.
It
and
does.
so that example spoke really loudly to me.
It
and
set
it's
the template.
something, it did.
Yeah.
It set the template. So it really rang true and resonated in my heart. It gave me a passion for that because I really love that opportunity because hey, the thing is, what we do, there's not really any do-overs. We get one chance to do it, and so what we do matters. The lights come on. We've got to get things.
One shot.
We get one shot at it,
Yeah.
and so it's important that we remember and do things the right way.
Mr. Kelly, we can dive deeper. We can bring the plane down later. But just from pre-needs to your director training, you've come out of that. We have you now as senior manager. We have you now as...
That's your term, senior. Nobody ever put senior in front of it except you.
I do.
Is that an Arizona thing?
It could be. Here's the thing. Hathorn is extremely involved.
Yeah, he's the senior.
He is our senior, yes. But I think when all's said and done, when he rides off into the sunset and whatnot, it's on your shoulders. So you're next in line to the throne, so to speak.
Right. We have owners,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm the manager of their
this
location
establishment,
here.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
David was that manager from the inception in 2000, and this place has his name on it for a reason.
Correct.
It's because people in Columbia and Marion County, they know his name, they recognize what he is about, that professionalism we talked about.
Yeah.
But yes, as time has kind of gone on, there was a desire for David to kind of not retire, and if you know him, he's not going to retire. I mean, he keeps going, but he did want to take a step back from the computers and the
game has evolved.
all the printing of materials and the managing this, that, and the other, and so it opened a door for me to not only I trained under him as a funeral director,
Right.
but then there was the opportunity for me to be an assistant manager.
Yes,
and
sir.
so to learn
Yes, sir.
what it's like to manage and manage people and to manage a staff and to put a team together.
Yep.
You know, I started learning that from him and did that for a couple of years probably. Sure. And then, you know, I now have a title as manager. David's here every day. He works 3 days a week, but he's here and
every day
and does work on every day in some way,
he'll,
shape, or
he
form.
probably,
But,
even on his days off, he'll stop to make sure we're good, that we don't need
Oh, yeah.
anything. You know,
Absolutely.
though, you know, like Marcus says, a little gruff, a little hard, you know, thick skin. He just cares so much.
He does.
And on his days off, on his vacations, it's making sure that we're okay, that we're good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that about him.
The way he says it, his name is on that sign,
right.
and
That's right.
if he's going to attach his name to something,
It's got to be quality.
he wants it to be quality, and I admire that about him so
Mad respect.
much. I feel that we have a statement we've always made around here. We want to do a Hathorn job.
Yes, sir.
That's what he trained me to want to do, and everybody here. So that's what we aim to do, is we want to do it the right way.
Yeah.
But part of my growth, and this is what I hope to be able to dive into with a lot of folks out there, is there's so much that goes into doing what we do, but it's important to always have a mindset and an attitude of learning. We want to be able to grow and become better, and to learn from those that are older than us and younger than us and the same age as us. So that's
always evolving.
Man, I always want to soak up from David. I try to, even today, always ask, hey,
what are your thoughts?
What are your
What would you
thoughts?
do?
What do you remember? How did So that's important to me, and I feel like our team sees that as an important principle and how we do things.
Yeah. Well, that's the culture you've cultivated here with Mr. Hathorn, and the last 10 years of your life have been here, and you've seen a number of different team members come through. But that's something that stood the test of him opening these doors, is doing a Hathorn job, serving with excellence, and that's what we preach, and we mean that.
Absolutely.
So
we do. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. We're all family together, so hey, it's good stuff. Well, that's probably enough. So why don't we go ahead and end it here?